Hello, beautiful soul tribe. Yana and I are so excited to have you guys back with us. So thank you for joining us today. And we were just saying about all the love in the chat before we even began. So thank you for that. We can really feel that. Yana, how are you doing today?
You know what? It's been a busy day, but when you get to connect with lovely people and you get to do the thing that you love, it just makes it all just worth it and perfect and joyful and all those beautiful things. So I'm really good today.
Oh, good. And, just a little bit of the excitement that we were talking about backstage. We're going to take you back to your inner child today. So, we're going to be talking about magic, we're going to be talking about fantasy, and about creating from this point, like we did when we were children. Because I do believe that we're born with this magic intact and this mind and creative brain that really knows how to create in the quantum. So, let me pop this little poster up. So, our topic for today, exploring fantasy to create. Plus, if you stick around for like the last probably like 15, 20 minutes, Yana and I are offering free readings as well. So, yeah, make sure that you're staying in the chat. Make sure to just be dropping emojis and things and interacting with us because we love it when we see your comments. And in fact, I'm going to pop on. Look at this cool little feature if it decides to turn on. There it is. I think it just doesn't work when the window's up. So we can now see the chats. There's a new feature where we can actually see you guys on screen. So yeah, that's a really lovely feature. And just before we get into the show, I would like to actually share, we do have this coming up, which is just in a couple of days' time. I'm busy preparing for it. And we have a good amount of people that are signed up for this Soul Tribe activation and meditation. And this was really just my way of expressing gratitude for our gorgeous Soul Tribe that gets together on these YouTube chats. And I wanted to give back to our community because I just love being with you guys. And I really want it to be together face to face to have a meditation and to really do the work that we've come here to do as part of our soul mission. So please make sure to sign up for this. It is free. The link will be in the description box below. And I also had to share, I just found out yesterday, I think it was 444, I found out that I've a finalist in building spiritual community. So thank you so much to the gorgeous people that have nominated me and written the most beautiful recommendations for this award. It was a total surprise. But yeah, let's get into the show, and then I will share some other links. But essentially, everything that you guys need booking wise is in the description box below, and I will also be popping up Yana's links as well through the show today for higher soul contracts too.
Yeah, and really quickly before we begin, Lorianne said, Solreta, you're a gift to us. You're a genuine gift to us. And it's so true. I think I said
Oh,
that in the last recording, or maybe all of them that we've done so far. You're just like, you shine, girlfriend. You really are a true gift. 100%.
oh,
Yeah.
thank you so much.
Love
Well,
it.
I'm like addicted to being here with you guys. I love it. I just think that, not that I'm biased, but I think we have the most gorgeous soul community and, the collaboration with you, it's just bringing in the most beautiful souls. So yeah, we're definitely growing as a community and it's so nice to be around like-minded hearts too. So thank you, everyone. Okay. So let me just bring up my notes. So one of the visions that I had with tapping into the energy of the show, because Yana and I were talking, and I said, I just got this download to talk about exploring fantasy to create. That was the title that Spirit gave me. And I also had the vision from them of the Labyrinth movie. And when I think is it Sebastian or no, Bastian is reading the book,
Mhm.
and all of a sudden, like just to set the scene, because I'm not allowed to share the videos, otherwise this one will get taken down. But he's in this dark space and he's reading this book that has the snake emblem on the front, sort of going in on itself. And he opens this book and it transports him into this whole other world filled with imagination, filled with a princess, the fluffy white dragon, you name it. And another one, oh, sorry, I'm talking about the never ending story. Interesting. So the
Oh, the
labyrinth is
fluffy white dragon.
It's so funny. Spirit must be downloading because I was getting the vision on that. But yeah, with the labyrinth, another example, David Bowie, and through the girl's bedroom, there's like a portal, and she has to go follow her brother, baby brother Toby, and try and find him. But again, it's like transported into this world of imagination, and it fully immerses you in it. And the same with the modern day version would be Ready Player One, where you put on the virtual reality helmet and you're transported into that reality, living, breathing these kind of realities. Is there any examples or movies that come to mind when we start to talk about, being immersed in creation, imagination, reality?
Yeah, there was that one with those, oh gosh, those two little kids that stepped into different timelines and realities. Oprah was in it. Anybody in the comments, please help
A
me out.
Wrinkle in Time,
Yes, A Wrinkle in
where they
Time.
have to test the rat to travel.
Totally. I mean,
Yeah,
it's so wild. And some of them, like, they kind of scare me a little bit, like Ready Player One. Like,
yeah,
I'm so like, I want to be in my reality, the virtual reality kind of like, I stay away from that. But that's exactly that childlike nature where, my daughter, she has no iPad, no phone. We've never given it to her. So I've always had, coloring books and markers and little toys and animals where she can do and create whatever is in her mind when we're out places or when we're at home and doing stuff, because I'm like, I want that imagination to stay lit up for as long as possible, because now, you see kids and they're glued to that iPad or they're glued to the phone, and I'm like, I know at some point she'll be engaged in that, so the longer I can keep her off of it, the more you can enrich that imagination and they don't lose it quicker.
yeah, yeah, that's so true. And speaking around that with children, it's so hard in this modern day reality to not go into that or not buy into that. Rudolf Steiner talked about that too in keeping the child at least up till age 7 in that life of imagination. And I remember when my kids were younger, going through kindergarten and playgroup and things, I remember sitting down with my oldest daughter, who's now nearly 25, and the teacher said to her, "You don't have to like sit down and play with her." Because I thought, oh, I have to entertain her. I have to
Right.
occupy when she was the only child. And she's like, no, they model after you. So, go about, do the cooking, the cleaning, like all of those sorts of things, and they'll role play and sort of take on those things because they're absorbing. And if we look at that, their brains are actually uh, forming a pattern of the world, forming a
Mhm.
pattern or a blueprint print for reality too. So I want us to be able to leverage on that. That's an innate thing that we had in us at around age 7. And because of the way that the brain functions, we can go in and plant memories, and the brain will think that things have actually happened as well. So it finds it hard to differentiate between what's actually reality and what's happened, and what is something that we're telling it. Oh, remember the time that we flew on the dragon and we went to the top of the castle? And it's like, oh, you actually start to tap back into that 7-year-old wonderment.
Right.
So whether, it's through meditation or watching movies, whatever you can do to sort of tap yourself back into this creative space, this is what we want to talk about today. So if you've got experiences or there's things that take you back to this beautiful energy as well, please let us know in the chats, because this is a space of where we're all working together, co-creating and helping us to tap back into these gifts that we were born with. And it's just because of the programming and all of these other things that we're talking about, technology, that we've started to drift away. And I think that, with AI as well, that's where we're seeing there really is a scary kind of stop and a block to imagination for a lot of the new kids that are growing up thinking that that's normal. They're losing that ability to have that. I'm just wondering, I'm like, is that the right brain? My brain's switching. I'm pretty sure it's right brain creativity.
Right.
Yeah. So we need to enhance this as much as we can. So I'm just having a look. So yeah, I want to look at this also from the point of view, and Yiannah, you are the perfect person to have this conversation with.
Mm.
So looking at this creation point, but from a quantum physics point of view or from a manifestation point of view, have you got any examples of where you feel like you sort of tapped into that inner child manifestation side? And yeah, maybe an example that you would like to share?
Yes, and I don't think I've shared this with you because I know before, like I've talked about like the planting your dreams and desires, within the soil of the plant and watching them grow, right? But something that's actually really interesting, and the thing is, I never share anything that haven't tried myself because in my mind, I'm like, if it works for me, I know it'll work for somebody else. And so one of my new favorite things is actually there was a sex therapist that I was watching for a little bit. And although she's a sex therapist, this applies to everything. And so what she suggested was, because everything is visual, everything is energy, everything is creation, right? So she said, write down everything you want to create, like almost paragraph form, just write everything down, what you want to bring into your life. Step two would be to remove all the vowels from all the words that you've written down. And then take the consonants that are left and create a drawing out of it. They don't have to be in order, but take all those letters, do a drawing, color it, do whatever it is, make it creative, all of that. And what you're supposed to do is at least once a day. Now, of course, like she referenced this, like in intimate moments, if you want to manifest, because that is creation, right? When you're in an intimate moment, whether it's by yourself or with somebody else, you're tapping into that creation energy. And so she says, in that aspect, before you enter an intimate moment, look at that photo, look at that drawing that you created, get into your creation, and when you're done, go back to the drawing. And so even on an everyday, of course, I'm using a sexy example, right? Because that's where it originated. But in when you're starting your day, put it up on your wall somewhere where you're guaranteed to see it, maybe before you walk out your house, by your front door, wherever it is, in your bathroom. Take a look at this drawing that you created. Because within the drawing, within the images, is the embodiment of the thing you want to manifest. And every time you look at it, you're not just looking at some, random photo, you know what it embodies and what it means. So every time you look at it, start off your day looking at it and end your day looking at it. And this is how energetically, without really much effort at all, because you've already done the work, without much effort at all, you can start bringing that into fruition. And what's really interesting is, I mean, we're all adults here, right? Okay. So when
Yeah.
I started, I was like, oh, I'm going to use it in my sexy times.
Yeah.
And to see how it impacts even that act of intimacy is like wild because you're viewing it from such a different point of view. And then you start to see these little like pieces of thread coming together that are weaving that bigger picture that you want to bring into manifestation, into creation. And it's wild when you actually see it in real time because it's small increments is what's going to start showing up. And before you know it, you get this full picture and you're like, how did I just create this? And it is absolutely mind blowing when you see that come to fruition. It's crazy, but
Yeah.
it's such a useful little tool. Oh, it's
It is a,
beautiful.
it is. And when you think about, sexual energy, chi, prana, life force, and the cerebrospinal fluid and the activation through the chakras, in that moment of orgasm as well and release, you're creating an energetic field, especially if your brains and hearts are in coherence. I mean, that's unstoppable energy that you're tapping into. So I'm so glad that you mentioned that because I wouldn't have thought of that with that. But if we're tying in fantasy with this as well, I
Yeah.
mean, yeah.
Listen,
And one of
I
my
know we started in that inner child energy, but okay, if we're digging in a little bit deeper, there was one time specifically where I had that thought in the beginning of all this. And during that moment of being filled up with, sexiness, okay, we'll just leave it
Yeah.
there. My mindset shifted to what am I? I'm actually being filled with the universe. So what do I want to be filled up with? And
Mm.
in that moment, I started thinking of those things. And then when I tell you that that energy of creation was unbelievable, I was like, oh my God, like I absolutely just created something here. And so the more you tap into that, you're setting intention, you're setting your thoughts, you're setting your words. Everything is magnifying that thing and it just amplifies it. It's amazing. It's amazing. So we're done with sexy time now.
Yeah, no, no, no. Actually, one more thing, considering sexy time. So I was reading somewhere the other day, I forget which culture it was. It may have been either Aboriginal or African. I don't want to stick it to one. But I remember reading a little article and it was talking about that the mothers are seen to be those portals of creation. So they don't really even see the man kind of having a part. We know on a scientific level, they donate
Right.
some genetic material. Um, and for a lot of the conscious men here, they very much are co-creators in, calling in souls. But essentially, they were saying that it's the mother's job when they feel the time is ready to call those souls in. And that's how powerful they say that the mother is in terms of a creator, that they literally will call these souls into the physical realm when the time is ready. I just get goosebumps talking about
Yeah.
it. It's so powerful. So going back into imagination as well. So what if our imagination is really kind of working the same way that creators and directors immerse us in stories, in cinema? It's the music, it's the sound and that. So how can we sort of build up or create that new identity in terms of really getting into the character, role playing, maybe taking on some actor methods and things. So one of these cute little things that I want to share with you guys that just I got told to bring in. This is a little magic mojo pouch that one of my gorgeous best friends, Bonnie, who's into some witchier things, we'll have to have her on. We did this beautiful solstice ritual where we were working with creating a new identity. And so she got all these cute little things. And of course, we're sitting in a dark room and I just happened to pick out a lot of the pink things. It's just that's my vibe. I tend to
Of
attract it.
course.
So I got the, I could see some of it when I was picking, but these cute little books, like look at this. So this is meant to be symbolic. So you guys can create these things at home. So a little book, which is like the story. How cute is that? It's an actual little paper
Oh.
book. Like it makes
Mhm.
you want to shrink down like a mini dollhouse. It taps you into that creator mode. A tiny pink potion bottle.
Oh,
So it's
so
like,
cute.
that's your potion to like step into the new identity. The keys. So, having the key to the new identity. And this was amazing. So she had these cute little picture frames and she said, look, she's an artist. So she's like, you might want to go in and paint over it. And I'm like, it kind of looks like pink, almost Barbie vibes. I'm like, I'm happy with that. I'm just and so all these things, were infused with magic and energy. And I noticed maybe even just about half a week after we did this process around solstice, I started to feel that I was like attracting, or there was this ease of me stepping into the new identity. And it's like all of the roadblocks, and you write like a little wish to go with it or a little manifestation. But I started to notice that everything was collapsing in terms of like the resistance that I'd felt before. Because in this process, you really feel in and fully embody and embrace like that identity, the vision around it. And I usually will anchor and tap into the same one over and over and over again. And I have done for maybe like the last maybe 2 years. I always see myself in the same house, same outfit. I don't know if it's because I'm a foodie. I'm opening the fridge in the
Yes.
vision. Doing day-to-day things because that's what we're doing. But I mean, you can also visualize whether it's receiving an award or, things of that nature that maybe, are kind of like huge achievements on like your path that you're working towards. I just need to read this one Britt Marie is saying. So Rita, in your last show yesterday, I told that a beautiful fairy came to me and told you that something special is going to happen in 3 days. Now I know that it is the big asteroid of 2025 FA 2218/9. Oh, interesting. Good pickup, like with your intuition as well. So that will be interesting. Just had to pop that up because she was talking about it yesterday. But yeah, have you had examples, of working with like little mojo bags or working with any spell work, magic work?
No, I'm more of the no, you know why? Because as a child, now I grew up in Greece, and so we were, lost in a mountain all day long, and we came home at dinner time. And so my imagination was always going, but it was such a different experience. It was while it was very nature driven, I never got, or maybe I just don't remember ever getting into that kind of whimsical kind of energy or space. I didn't see like you. I still don't primarily see like you. For me, information drops in. And I'm like, I don't know where that came from. And then the other person's like, no, that's exactly correct. And so while you've had that your whole life, I've had to work through it. So for me, it comes in different ways. Like, I will have conversations all the time and I'll create things in my mind, but it's never with physical stuff unless I can actually get myself in that space. What's really interesting that you said was the last week or couple weeks, you've started dropping that resistance.
Mm.
And so that's exactly what happened with me too. And it's funny because you want to create sometimes, and this is where I tell people, give yourself grace. And so in my soul contract world, if you have any karmic sixes, that's the Taurus energy. Those are ones that resist. They have this resistance. They procrastinate. They want to get stuff done, but energetically, they just can't. There's something that's happened within the last few weeks with that kind of energy where I feel like everybody's just shifting past it. And they're like, let's go. So this is that perfect time to start creating. Right
Yeah.
now is perfect time to ride that momentum because then, who knows when that next moment of sitting still could come in. Could be any, it could be any time. Anyway, I'm digressing. But I didn't want that comment to pass.
No, I think it was really important that you mentioned that. And let me pop up. So when Yana's talking about like the six contracts and things, and you guys are like, what is that? Maybe if you haven't caught one of the other shows, you do have the free guide as well that's on here. But I do highly recommend after having a reading with Yana myself, it is mind blowing. And it's just incredible to see how the name that we were either given or chose to take on, like how there's so much resonance with it, but so much potential to tap into in terms of creating and manifesting, like we're talking about today as well. So yeah, I do have a few beautiful clients that have signed up to receive this and they were like, wow. So some of them have also had sessions with you too. So please make sure to go and take the opportunity to go and find out a little bit more about this. You also have soul contract readings, which are really, really powerful, which is what I had. And I absolutely just loved mine. I thought it was mind blowing. It literally told the story of my life.
Mm.
And it also gave me insight into how I can sort of hack things. So things that were that resistance or things that I was sort of like up against, you gave me ideas on how to collapse that or how to sort of like move to that identity that was beyond that. And it's almost like giving permission to be able to embody. Because I think a lot of us, especially here in Australia, I was talking about this with another creator the other day, we have what's called tall poppy syndrome. So there's this, and another analogy would be the mud crabs that are in the bucket that keep pulling each other down when one starts to like
All
rise
right.
up. So it's something really like deeply inbred into our culture,
Yeah.
weirdly enough, that, if anyone sort of does well, and I'm not saying, spiritually minded people, it's usually quite different in that we want people to prosper and succeed because if other people are doing it, it must be a universal example that we can do it too. So there is a bit of a different lens, but I really feel that like with that reading that you gave me, that it helped me to be able to collapse and dissolve some of that resistance around, no, it's actually okay to shine. It's okay to stand out. It's okay, because it's part of the soul mission.
100%. And it's not okay. It's not just okay to ask for what your value is. It is like requirement. Like step into that power. We all have it. Why do we sit back and think that we can't have or accomplish? And I always say this in every single reading, every time I talk to people, this is an abundant universe. Your thoughts create your reality. I go back to the word abracadabra. I create as I speak. So
Mm.
start speaking positive things. That's the one. I mean, you want to be creative? Get creative. You want more money in your life? Start saying to yourself, money loves me. It follows me everywhere I go. It loves my purse. It loves my bank account. I can't get rid of it. It just absolutely loves and adores me. You want more love? Love finds me everywhere I go. Start creating these stories with your words and your thoughts, whether you believe it or not. If you're stuck in the mud, if you're having a dark night of the soul, It doesn't matter. Start changing that narrative, and eventually your mind and your heart are going to catch up, which is then going to be an equal um oh my gosh, what's the word I'm looking for? When your mind and your heart catch up, your reality starts catching up, and your reality then starts showing up in the same exact manner of how you're speaking and how you're thinking. So whether you believe it or not, just start doing it. Even if you're stubborn and you got Taurus energy and I can lead you to the water, but I can't make you drink it. At some point, you're going to make that shift. So when it feels right, just start that positivity train.
Yeah. And I think sometimes it does take a reading where someone sees you in a different light from a soul level. I know that that's definitely happened. I've got one gorgeous client, well, actually, I've got a few, where I've seen them working in this space as a reader. And, I've started to talk about soul mission and things. And I had a beautiful message from one the other day who's doing really, really well. And she's like, I love my job so much. She's created an online tarot reading and things. And it's just, my heart fully glows up and is so happy for her because I saw that in her. Maybe I'm trying to think when I first read for her. Gosh, it's going back years ago now. But it's like the journey and watching her step into that. I feel like a proud mama bear.
Right.
It's just, when you can see that potential in someone, and sometimes
Right.
it's just having that person to speak that, what it is that you're working with that maybe you haven't told anyone. And when you hear them talk about it, it's like, wow, like if someone's reading this in my field and it's something, it just helps to bring it into alignment a lot more. So definitely have a look. Like if you guys are in that space in between where you're not sure or you're wanting to work more with soul mission, definitely booking a session with Yiannah or myself as well. And I'll just pop up my readings. So I've got quite a few to choose from now. They're on the website, solreta.com. There is a special discount code for the couples psychic tarot session, which is so much fun. So that is the code word love, and that'll save you 10% off as well. So yeah. Is there something else that you're feeling called to talk about around this topic today?
Well, yes, actually. Yes. So one of the things that it's funny because this is something that helped me in a moment where I didn't even realize it was something I needed. But at some point, I remember I was in some kind of program, and I remember meditating. And for the first time in meditation, my body started moving. And usually, you're very still because you're still and you get quiet and whatever. And all of a sudden, I realized during the entire meditation, it was almost like I was dancing to some song that I couldn't even hear. So then I thought, okay, I'm going to try this. And again, if you have threes in your soul contract, this is for you. So pay attention. But threes or sixes, I should say. But one day I put on music, and it's like very sensual music, no words, no lyrics, because lyrics just distract you. And I just started moving to the music with intention. Now, when you just have sound, you can focus, right? The intention was I just want to remove and shift stuck energy. That's it. And I didn't know where it was going to take me, or what was going to happen. Long story short, through that, I did it every day. My goal was to just go as long as you can because of my karmic sixes. I also don't keep promises to myself. So I'm like, just do it as long as you can. And so I started dancing. I would do 10 minutes day one, 20 minutes day two. I think by like day 4 or 5, because I was so into it, I had gotten up to like 40 minutes. It was in the evening. And what I did was I turned off all the lights. Because when we have the lights on, we judge how we look, we judge how we're moving. And I'm like, I want to restrict any visuals. And so it was very dim, just the light from the TV playing the music. And the way my body started moving, it was in a way where it had never moved before. I didn't even know I could do that, like that kind of stuff. And what I realized was I started getting these visuals, and it was visuals of like my family, the women in my family lineage. And it felt like at some point there was this breaking of chains, and I felt the chains break off, and whatever was that stuck energy, it felt like it had released. And it felt like it allowed me then to move forward and create and write whatever story I want to for my family lineage and for me in this incarnation. And I know that's like wild. You're just moving your body. But what happens is when you move your body like that, you start releasing a lot of energy. So when you feel stuck in life, when you feel at a loss, when you feel you don't know what your direction is, when you want answers, whatever it is, just start moving your body. Dance to anything that doesn't have words because we don't want the distractions. And if you just start paying attention, not only are you going to receive messages, you're going to fall in love with yourself even more. And I think that's such a huge thing that many of us in the society, people look at celebrities, people look at models, and everyone's like, oh, I don't look like that. And I don't have that kind of money. And I may feel less than. Well, you know what? That's bullshit. Pardon my French. That's complete bullshit. And so the more you move your body, the more you get comfortable, you fall in love with it. And you walk next to that mirror and you go, I am so sexy. Whether you believe it or not, just say it to yourself. And I promise by like day 4, day 3, you're going to be walking by that mirror and you're going to be like, I know. I know. And because you already embodied that sexiness. And that sexiness, as we talked about, is creation. You
Mm.
feeling yourself is feeling that creation. Oh, I'm so excited. There's so much joy. What can come in? And that
Yeah.
was such a huge game changer for me because it actually allowed me to fully step into putting myself out there with my soul contracts. I was like, I'm going to create a website and do a thing, but I'm never going to post or show my face because, I was always hiding because I live in a very 3D environment. People around me don't get it. And to put my face on somewhere, on some kind of social media post where family, friends, like colleagues, like people can see it was so scary. But it needed me to shift through that, step into my power and go, you know what? I'm just going to do it because what's worst case scenario? Who cares? Who cares?
Yeah.
No one else is living my life for me. Sorry, I'm going on a total rant because
No,
I
I
still
love
feel
it.
that passion. And it
Yeah.
was like such a huge drive for me where I'm like, again, if it can work for me, it can work for anybody. So that movement is huge for creation, huge.
Yeah, and I think if anyone's feeling a little bit of resistance to it or thinking, "Oh, I'm not a natural dancer," or whatever it is, just try it. And if you really can't dance, whether it's lifting weights or doing, a workout class, it's things to like move in the physical. And I think that's the thing that gets forgotten when we step into imagination creation. What's really interesting, if we link this back to sexy time, for the female brain, and it's really interesting when you listen to like a lot of the psychologists and that talk about it. When we're talking about like intimate moments and a female being really ready, it's actually when they feel sexy within themselves.
Yeah.
So it's not even really about like the male aspect or, the other partner aspect. It's how do you feel within yourself? And I know for me, having done belly dancing, it really, like, the more that I sort of move my hips, that's that energy of creation, that really changes things. It changes, like, my identity, how I feel about myself, how I sort of carry myself in the world. So I think that's good permission that you're giving everyone to step
Oh,
into
yeah.
themselves more. But you're right, like, it's walking past the mirror and saying these words to yourself, which leads me into one of my little notes. If we're thinking about the character that we're playing, and just to use my partner as an example, because he's one of the people that's always there in my life, he'll joke and he'll say, "Oh, I'm an ugly ogre," or "I look like Shrek." And I'm like, don't say that about yourself. I say you're a Viking, like you're strong, you're powerful. It really, we don't realize how we program our reality. And it's funny because
Absolutely.
social media keeps bringing up all these things around Shrek and ogre. It's like the phone or the algorithm's like bringing it up. And I'm like, the algorithm is hearing you. So
Isn't that crazy?
it is. We need to look at like what we're saying, what we're broadcasting to our field. And it really is like on a quantum level, it comes back. So you want to
Yeah.
be saying beautiful, amazing, creative, life-giving things. But yeah, I just thought that was a funny little example of how it literally is coming back in the 3D physical things that he's putting out and saying. So we do need to speak to ourselves as though we are this main character. And I think what you were saying too about, family and friends, or how will people perceive, it's super important, because I think a lot of us don't really ever live our lives to our full potential.
Yeah.
So a lot of it is collapsing this fear, collapsing the judgment, or the tall poppy or the mud crab syndrome that we were talking about before. So if we can put ourselves into this space of, where would I be or who would I be if I lived up to my full potential, or if fear or resistance wasn't a thing? What would I be brave enough or have the courage to step into? And I think a lot of us would be living very, very different lives. I feel like even, with the work that I'm doing, it's sort of I'm dipping my toe in the water, but I know that there's definitely a lot more unlimited potential that I can be tapping into. But it's also a time thing too, because a lot of the time you won't have it just implode in your life overnight because it wouldn't be sustainable. So we're starting to,
Yes.
and that's the big thing of what you were saying too with the physical. I do feel that there's a different kind of sustainability that comes in with that manifestation creation. You can incorporate breath work. If you're not ready for the physical side just yet, just somatically feeling into the body, using maybe a bit of that sexual energy of creation as well. Is there any other things that you wanted to mention
Well,
around like, what it is that works for you?
I live in the soul contract world. Frequency is every time people speak, I'm like, oh, that's that. Oh, that's that. Like it just plays in my mind. And so when you talked about what you just said is so perfect. I will say this: people with eights, fives, and 10 ones in their chart, they're the ones that feel like the black sheep. They feel different. They very much fall into that spiritual category where they may be the only spiritual or feel different in their family. People treated them different. So it's really important to honor yourself and step into that self love and go, you know what? You may not be in that space, but I am. You may not like X, but I do. Like it doesn't matter. Honor yourself first. But the last part of what you just said was that strong mind. The 10-1 energy is all about that discipline. And so when you, God, you said it so beautifully. When, we all want all these blessings, right? The clients, the money, the love, the family, whatever it is. But if you are not ready for it energetically, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, financially, all that, what happens is if source comes in and says, oh, you want all these things, let me turn on the tap and give it all to you. If you haven't built a strong mind and a strong container to be able to maintain all of that, that opportunity is going to like wash right through because if you're not properly prepped for it, you may not be able to understand or know how to sustain it. So it
Mm.
is really important what you said. We have to make sure that we mentally get to do the work, plan and prep, especially if you got sixes and 10 ones. This is for you, which Solreta, you have, I have. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So start with that discipline, little things at a time. Dance 10 minutes a day. Draw something for 10 minutes a day. It doesn't matter. But the more you build that, the more can start coming in because then it's like that discipline and keeping commitments and promises to yourself. You're honoring yourself. The more you do that, the more then source goes, she's ready. And now
Yeah.
let's bring it in. Let's bring her these blessings that she wants to come in. And you're going to start seeing that and it's going to be amazing. And then you'll remember, so you'll have to write in and let us know.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that I've noticed that I've incorporated more this year because similar to you in that, I have to really try and make myself more accountable because I'm so off in this creative space, from making this to making that there's so
Yep.
many different things that I just want to flow energy into. But I know that when I show up here with our gorgeous community, this really helps me to anchor and to bring
Yeah.
it in more strongly. The other thing too, and I talked about this with one of the girls at the gym, she said it's like if you pre-book your classes, it holds you accountable to showing up. So what is it that you can do in terms of like, I apply this to life too. So what is it that my future self does? How can I bring that into accountability now? So it's all trying to like trick ourselves into this space. But I also was reminded when you were speaking too of, you know, when you go into a room or say like a business networking thing, or you're meeting people at a party and they're like, "Oh, what do you do for work?" A lot of us that do the woo don't always talk about it. I remember this is so crazy. So
Right.
I remember having one boyfriend a couple of years ago, and he was a doctor and like very high level, very high up. And it was so funny because even though he'd seen me do my work and supported me, with the YouTube stuff, this was years ago. It's like if we were in a party environment or a situation, I could feel his energy become uncomfortable when people would say stuff. And it's not that he verbally said, don't tell people what you do. It's just I could intuitively read that he was maybe not comfortable with it. And it's funny because so I would say, oh, I'm a beauty therapist. I work with advanced anti-aging or, things of that sort of nature, facial acupuncture, those kind of things. And so, that's just accepted. There's not too much more that's said about it. Unless you're talking to a woman, then they're like, oh my God, and conversation
Totally.
will start. But I remember years later after we split, going to a dinner party of his and just chatting with everyone, chatting with like all the doctors. And they're like, oh, what do you do for work? And I'm like, oh, I'm not going to hold back anymore.
Yep.
And so before you know it, everyone's like, can you do a reading for me? Can you tell me about this? This is a photo of like my children. This is like my wife. And they're like, oh my God, you are blowing my mind.
Yeah.
And so it was funny because I got to be in this place of really living who it was that I am in terms of my true identity, not just this other comfortable facade. And I've had other examples of hearing my mom and dad, maybe 10 years ago, talk about to a friend that they bumped into. We were all at the shopping center. And they're like, oh, yeah, she's, she works as a kinesiologist. And I actually came in and corrected. I'm like, I did, but now I work as a psychic. So, there's a lot of power, even if you're not ready to say what it is that you do. I'm giving you permission right now, if you're listening to this, to embody
Yes.
what it is that you love, what it
Yes.
is that you do, because each time we say it out loud, we're anchoring it and we're starting to put this beautiful costume on to the identity of who it is that we're becoming. It doesn't, as we said before, happen overnight.
No, but what happens in that moment is the universe starts responding now because you've declared who you are. And
Yeah.
so on the Your Soul Wisdom podcast, we had a guest named Chris Reck. He does tarot readings on he's got a YouTube channel. He has almost 1 million subscribers, okay? And he was saying how he had all these different businesses. Long story short, at some point his mom's like, just make a YouTube channel of your tarot, okay? And so he's like, okay, and he started it. And he said for the longest time he was stuck. I can't remember if the number was at 15,000 subscribers or like 45,000, something like that. And he's like, no matter what I did, I couldn't increase that number. And then he said, one day I was leaving my place and I ran into my neighbor. And my neighbor goes, oh, they started chit chatting. And she goes, what do you do? And he said, for the first time ever, I said to somebody, oh, I'm a tarot reader. And he said that year he jumped up like hundreds of thousands of subscribers because he finally put into the universe, he declared it, this is who I am. So then the universe goes, great. Now that you know what you are, we know what to give you. And so there's so much power into that. And we all can sit here and be like, oh, I don't know what to say, And it's funny because I have a partner who's very 3D. Very 3D. When we started our monthly membership with the collective, he was my first person to subscribe. He's never been on the portal. He's never
Oh,
joined a
wow.
call. He wants to support, but he doesn't get it. And so I remember one time we were watching something recently. There was this woman talking about how she goes, she was talking about how she's like a healer and she helps people live their best lives. And, she's like a coach or whatever. And he turns to me and he goes, that's what you are. That's what you are to
Aw.
people. And I just had this moment of like, I was shining like inside out because for somebody who I've never actually told him, because I know he doesn't really get it. And he's never
Yeah.
really asked either. But for him to just declare that and see as a 3D person, this is what she does, it was like such a beautiful moment. And
Yeah.
so even if no one's giving you the accolades or no one's acknowledging it, just know people are watching and observing and it will come together. It will come together because you're declaring it. You're putting it out there.
That's so true. I love that. And just I can see your aura light up when you're telling that story too.
Yeah.
I can see the energetic embodiment. And it reminded me of another story. I think this was back in 2005, I think. So 10 years ago. And I remember my parents, like, this was around that same time of where they were a little bit like, didn't know how to tell their friends what it was that I did or anything like that. And I remember I got invited to be on Australian TV and to be on as a psychic. And also, it's one of the first, I guess, examples of light language that was on TV back here in Australia at that time. And I remember my parents, I think my grandmother was over at their house, and my dad's like sitting there ready to push record on the TV to record the episode that I was on. But yeah, it's like for some people, they need that 3D validation. So
Yeah.
it's like when the outward reflection of, hearing it on a podcast or things like that. And it was the same when I got flown to Italy to be on Japanese TV. My dad's like, oh my God, like this is real. Like, I
Right.
don't know what it is for me, but it's like when my dad sees me do something, it lights me up. Like him holding my potions when I took
Oh,
it over to him when it was created. I've got this photo, and it's the emotion of the proudness that I see in his face
yeah.
in this light. So also another tip that you guys can utilize that leverages on that, what I was just saying, is if you're sort of stuck or you feel like that you would like that feeling of someone that really loves and supports you tapping in, you can always visualize, and we've done this on the Soul Alchemy channel as well, where we've created or talked about standing in front of a mirror in meditation, and then just pretend you're getting ready, whatever it is that you're doing in the meditation visualization. And then I want you to imagine maybe just sitting on the bed or just standing back behind you a little, your best friend or your biggest support or your partner, someone that loves you unconditionally. Maybe if you can't think of anyone, maybe imagining us like cheering you on, our soul tribe cheering you on, going, oh my gosh, you did it. But what it does, it taps you into that beautiful energy, that belief system. And again, the brain thinks that this has already happened. And
Yep.
that's what we want to program in. We want to form these new neural networks of it's already happened, feeling into the emotion and the excitement of it. So that is a really great technique used to shift reality. And if there's anything you want to add to that before we get to the readings, feel free to add to that.
Oh no, I think we're ready.
Awesome. Okay. So we would love to do just like a quick, maybe a couple of card picks for some of our beautiful soul tribe here. So if you guys have questions, please put them in all caps. Amy, you've come on at the right time. I just seen Amy jump in the chat. So if anyone has questions, we only have time for a couple, but please put them in higher caps so we can see. And before we do that, Yiannah, can you talk about your beautiful cards? Because my soul tribe has
Yes.
seen my
Yes.
my Syrian cards many times. So I would love for you to talk about your
Okay,
cards.
so I have a card deck that's in the works. It is based on the sound frequencies. And so this is actually not the final deck. It looks completely different, but this is what I use to give the information based on the frequency that needs to come through for whatever the situation embodies or what it entails and what is needed or required to be embodied for the outcome. And so this is just like the most beautiful um soul inspired answers that come out of these. It blows my mind because again, never thought I'd be doing this in my life. So here we are.
Oh, beautiful. And can I get you just to hold up? I've popped you on the big screen so that we can
Yes.
see. Because look at the
It's my
quality.
little
So
logo,
beautiful.
Higher Soul Contracts. And so each one is a different frequency. This is the Aries frequency, leadership, teacher, truth. This is actually teacher of teachers. But anyway, if someone is needing some truth, I don't know why this is coming up, but that truth, you may need to find some kind of information coming in for whoever this is resonating with. But each one tells a different story. I don't do reversals either because I'm just not led to. But
You got to trust that
anyway.
too.
Oh, 100%,
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've just highlighted a couple of questions that we've got. So let me just pop this up. So the first one that we have, do you want to start with this one? Hi, can you tell me what is coming towards me in September? Thank you.
Oh my goodness. Let's see what we
Thank you,
get.
Nan.
No, sometimes I'm a terrible shuffler and sometimes
So am
nothing
I.
comes out and I just have to pick. I'm like, this is terrible for what I'm trying to do. All right, something I'm just picking here. I'll get 2 cards in here. Okay. Okay, tell me what is coming for me in September. Ooh, okay. This 2-2 energy, this is all about wisdom. It's actually making foolish decisions to get to that wisdom. And this 10-1 energy is the divine masculine. So actually, what I'm actually getting for you for September, I think there's a lot of information that's coming in, and it's about shifting perspective without being reactive. So I don't know if there's a reactive, if you're just like someone who like decides things quickly, and sometimes you may reject it, you regret it after. But sit with the wisdom of what you already know. Don't say yes or no to things right away. Just give some time, because I think there's some beautiful information that wants to come in. And there's this divine masculine. Why is this coming in? This is Archangel Michael energy. Do you sit in your masculine, or do you need to be in your masculine? Who asked this question?
This was Nancy. Let me just find the question.
Nancy, will you let me know? There's something about this masculine coming in. And I wonder if, oh, here's what it is. Okay, Nancy, I don't know if there is, whoever this divine masculine is in your life, whether it's a partner, a father, a brother, a boss, whatever this masculine is, sit with the information and allow. I feel like there's some information going to come in that's going to help you figure out how to move forward with this masculine. So sit with it. Don't say yes right away. Maybe it's a new guy coming in or whatever it is. Sit with it. Whatever this masculine is, some new information will be presented to you
Perfect.
for them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so. And just looking at like the little emojis as well, there looks like a lot of love energy that maybe Nancy's even connecting with.
Okay.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, I just saw her comment. So yes, I believe in Archangel Miguel.
Miguel, which is that Michael?
I think it's a derivative. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. He is around you in September. He is very much around you. And so he's going to also be protective over whatever male is in your life. So feel into that energy. Yeah. Yes.
Oh, perfect. And I'm going to tap into this one from Lorianne about our soul community, Soul Tribe. So, question, will our soul tribe get to meet up here in the United States? Let's have a look into that.
I'm happy to host you in Chicago, Solreta.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I definitely will have to make a trip to Chicago. I touched down at the airport there last time. Okay, so we've got 5 cards, and I'm just going to fill into these before we flip them over, because that's the way that Spirit's instructing. So the energy that I get is just pure, enchanted lightheartedness. I'm actually seeing us more in a place of nature. It feels like a spiritual retreat. And I feel like it's in a place where there's an energy vortex. I keep seeing butterflies everywhere. It feels to me sort of spring, maybe heading towards summer. Everything just feels alive and charged with energy. And I'm hearing the word new earth. So this place or this space is connected to setting up and working with these particular energies. And I do feel perhaps even there might be a connection with one of our beautiful soul tribe. It might actually be on one of their properties. So I do feel like this is an energy vortex. It does feel like it's maybe perhaps out in the country a little bit. And I do feel like it's maybe not even the only one. I feel like there's like one place maybe where we're starting, or let me just fill into these cards a little bit more. They're just telling me to flip them. Oh my gosh. Okay, these are beautiful. So what we have, 10 of coins. This is quite often my community card. We then have an 8 of disc, which is movement. This is Virgo energy. So we need to get our butts into gear and start to organize something. We need to set the energy now. We do have a Queen of Swords energy with this as well. So this is definitely, we need to think about like putting it out there, starting to speak about it on a deeper level. What we do have though around future is a little bit of resistance. We've got a 7 of Wands and we have a 2 of Wands. So there could be a little resistance in bringing this vision into creation. I do feel a little bit of outside influence with this. So I'm just going to tap in and get just a couple of cards because I feel like this is something maybe outside of our control. We've got an Empress energy, which is we need to actually manifest it a lot more clear. And we've got the Cheshire Cat as well. So with the Alice deck, So we need to tap into that vision, that creation with the mystery Cheshire Cat card and with that other beautiful Empress energy. Not as beautiful in this deck because it is the Queen of Hearts, but we definitely have to tap in to Queen of Wands energy and Virgo Venus energy. So this is all about we need to start visioning it and bringing it in and creating it for it to happen. But it's really interesting because it's already happened. If I look at the first cards that came out, even though it's like in the past placement, this is us setting it up like, oh, remember that time like where all of our soul tribe got together? It's exactly how we were talking about it before. So thank you for that beautiful question, Lorianne. And I would like to check and read on that maybe in a couple of weeks' time and see how it's shifted. So let me grab a question for you. Okay, this is an interesting one. Tapping a little bit back into sexy time. So Christian is asking, what can spirit tell us regarding semen retention when it comes to men and keeping that creative energy from being corrupted?
I mean, I can just answer this without even going into the
Yeah,
cards. I mean,
sure.
it's interesting. Well, I will pick a card anyway. But what's interesting is, you guys, I really do feel like this is a mental state of mind. I think we can easily go into the darkness of everything and we can easily go into the lightness of everything, the positive side. So when it comes to that semen retention or keeping it from being corrupted, I think it's all in your mindset. Just only have and only allow the possibility that it'll be something beautiful. Don't allow the possibility of corruption or anything like that to live in your reality. And I absolutely believe, and I've seen it in my life play out, when I have absolute certainty with how something specific is going to work out, that's absolutely how it works out. There is no, and you got to be very calm about it, as if like it's like oh yeah, of course it's going to work out that way. When you truly believe that, that's just how that's going to play out. That's it. And
Yeah.
I believe that with every cell of my fiber, every fiber of my being.
Yeah. And I was asked about this question the other day, and I said, I believe it's different for different men. So whether there's a belief system around it, and I've researched into like Mantak Chia's work and other things and looking at it from like a pranic healing level, but I have noticed that certain people have different vitality and certain life force. So whether it's there's certain chakras that are like more developed than others, and so they can sort of call in or bring in. This is like a whole nother show, but I love
This
this.
is
Let's
it
look
is,
into
but
the
okay,
cards. Yiannah.
you can't see it because my screen is higher. But what you just said and what I said, this right here is that manifestation. It's that positive mindset. This came out, you guys. The 91 is a space holder. Hold space for whether it's that man that's struggling, or hold space for yourself. Hold space for the situation, the environment that you want to create. Create that container from a very loving place. It's also a very funny energy. And this 16-7, this is very much awakening energy, and bringing it's awakening energy and magnetizing a lot of stuff to you. So especially like in business, we say you want fours and you want sevens because that's how you create and that's how you magnetize things to you. So sit in that positive mindset. Change the narrative in your mind. People get cancer diagnoses. People get answers like, you'll never have kids or whatever. And then they sit in that. And then one day, guess what? They believe, I don't accept that. I'm going to have a child. I'm not going to get sick. I'm going to get rid of this from my body. And they do. And there's no science to prove as to why it happened, but it's that mindset. Get into that mindset and heal it. Get into the mindset and change that reality.
Yeah, I think that's a perfect one. That answer that came up in the cards really reflects what it is that you're saying.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. And it's interesting, like I
Beautiful.
wonder, if we're looking at it on a physical level as well, and we're looking at it in terms of life force, there's different foods and things that you can eat that will actually harness more chi, more life force energy. I do understand the principles behind what it is that he's saying as well. Let's have a look into another question. And I'll just pop this one. Okay, so this was the next one that we had, Golden Trinity. Any guidance for me, for my children, and for myself? So I'll just have a look into that. Oh, and they want the Star Tarot. Okay. So these ones I'm going to just flip over. So the beautiful vision I've got with this is it's almost like a motherly angel energy with two little babies. Not little, but I'm seeing like two beings wrapped under your wings. So, oh, and we've got the Two of Cups. This is beautiful. So we have the Emperor energy and the Eight of Disc. So there may have even been, a moving away, a shifting of situation. And we do have in the present moment that two energy. So this is beautiful. This is focusing on love and connection. Even though there could be harder things that you're dealing with, we have a 10 of Wands, which is oppression. It's Saturn energy, which can also indicate that there's control or different things. And we have a 5 of Cups, which is more where sometimes our attention and focus is on the disappointment, it's on the negative things that have happened, it's on some of the energies to do with the past, and we can sort of be stuck in this state of grief. So this is more about where can we like draw the attention to Two of Cups energy, because you can still see even in the 5 of Cups, we have a Two of Cups. So I'll just grab quickly some more cards to go with that energy. Yeah, we've got a Wheel of Fortune. This is an alignment card and a Queen of Cups. So you're steering the ship and bringing different things, new opportunities, new experiences into alignment. And this is the main thing to focus on. I heard the word mindset when I touched this. This is the second time that we've had the 10 of Wands come up for you, beautiful. So definitely focusing on where you feel there's roadblocks, where you feel like there's people that are holding you back. So that is the energy that we have to overcome that obstacle. So this would also be, see how this person's doing the work and no one else is helping them. Where can we maybe perhaps like ask for a little bit of help, or perhaps like stop carrying everything for everyone and focus a little bit on feeding this Queen of Cups, pouring back into her because she gives to everyone else. So I feel like this is the guidance that we have at the moment. And I just want to say it's very hard to go like fully in depth when Spirit's giving us lots of messages to conduce it down to like a little bit. So if this is something that's coming up for you guys and you do want a little bit of a deeper look, Yiannah and I both have our readings in the description box below. I think we've got time for one more. So let me just pop up a question for you. So hopefully that helps to make sense, Golden Trinity. So we have here, this was the next one. So I'm trying to be fair to everyone in going in the ones that appeared first. So it's very hard.
John.
Yeah,
Was
so
it saucy, John? Was it a sec? Let's see if it was a sexy energy. Let's see if something comes out, John. Ooh, okay. There was, John, please confirm, was there a sexy undertone or a sexy message that you sent? We've got the phrase. Okay. There's a lot going on here. We've got this 20-2. This is very much that war to peace element. And so when it comes between you and your wife, I wonder if there's a little bit of tug of war of who's in control, the power, the alpha in the relationship. And so finding that peace between you is going to, like, someone needs to wave the white flag. Please tell me if this is you. But there is a sexy energy that came in. And I think she actually likes you sitting in your masculine. Listen, I got to be honest, especially in the States, a lot of men have been emasculated. Okay. Women want to be successful. Women want to be empowered, but women also want a sexy man that's going to be the man and going to be the provider and is going to be the protector and all that stuff. I feel like that's what she wants. And so if there's any kind of conflict you're trying to resolve, stick with that sexy time. This is speed. Share your emotions, share what you're feeling, have fun, have joy, and stand in your, like, the masculine of you. So I wonder if this, please, John, please tell me, I hope you're still here, if there was a sexy message, because it feels like it. And I think she likes it when you're in your masculine. Listen, women love that. Women eat that
so
up.
attractive.
Yes, because the more you tell her how sexy she is, how beautiful she is, how vibrant she is, how great she is at home or at work, whatever it is she's doing with the kids, the more you share that, the more sexy times you get. Just
Yeah.
saying.
Yep. Yep. And that's about putting it out there and that playful quantum. I just wanted to bring up so Golden Trinity that I read for as well. So this is that energy that I was saying when spirit
Mm.
gives me that there's a lot here and it's hard to conduce down. So that vision of the angel with the children, wrapped under, that I believe is also, you there with them in spirit, even though that you're not sort of maybe perhaps able to care for them 100% at the moment. So I'm just sending you a lot of love. And I do feel that with those 10 of wands that came up twice, those roadblocks, the oppression energy, definitely keep holding the vision, the outcome that you want, and keep, coming back to being healthy and whole within yourself with the support of your team that you have around you at the moment. So yeah, we're just sending you so much love and just wishing you the best with that. Okay. So my angels and I are on. Beautiful. Well, we're
Mm.
sending lots of angels to you as well in love and strength and support with that. So I just wanted to say thank you so much for coming on the show and showing us your beautiful cards as well. And yeah, is there anything you want to mention that you've got coming up? I know you and I have got another show coming up shortly as well, which I'm excited about.
Yes, so you will be on our podcast live, September 23rd in the States, September 24th in Australia. And we're actually going to be covering, you and I just talked about, let's talk about UFOs, let's talk about the ETs, let's talk about all that really good stuff that apparently visited you all the time as a kid. And I'm like, I can't relate to that, but I want to know all about it.
Awesome.
So if you guys are interested, we have a beautiful podcast. It's me and four other magical women. And we talk about everything spiritual under the spiritual umbrella. Number one, I am teaching. Yeah, there you go. Your soul wisdom. It's so much fun, you guys. We have a blast. I also have my soul contract course, which I am going to make live and start my next container next month. So if you want to join that wait list, you're very welcome to. We have healing sessions, soul contract readings. I do my coaching. I'm very selective with the coaching because you really have to be committed. But I will say, when you get somebody who's invested in their healing, who's invested in their growth, the transformations that happen are unbelievable. And so, you guys, if you feel drawn, go ahead and check out my website, reach out, book a reading, a healing, a guided meditation session, whatever it is. But so, Rita, you and I are going to be here again. And
Yeah.
so we're going to be doing this again.
Oh, and I also want to remind people if they can't wait between the space to the 23rd, go and check
Yes.
out Yiannah's YouTube channel where her and the Gorgeous Girls have the Higher Soul Contracts podcast, and you will see past episodes. So we've got a few episodes together, and the beautiful girls over at Higher Soul Contracts, everyone just contributes their amazing personality, and I think it's such a fun show. So I just want to remind you guys, I have the readings available. You can use the code word love on the bottom of the screen to book the personal couples session, the psychic tarot, where we draw your auras together and we have a look at the beautiful energies and soul mission of the couple together. It is a 2-hour session. So it's really involved on individual levels, but then also weaving that couple energy together. And this is what I'm excited about for this month is our online event. So if you guys have bought a potion in the past and you tick that little button to receive emails, or if you're buying one anytime leading up to this event, you'll get sent a free invite ticket to our, let me scroll back, solar eclipse new moon in Virgo. So it's going to be a really special event, as well as the one that we have happening this week, which this one is free for anyone that's on our YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. You just have to go into the description box below and sign up. I think I'm covering everything. And I just want to say thank you so much for all of the love that you guys share on both of our channels. And we appreciate you so much. And thank you for the love too, everyone. We really, really appreciate it. And thank you for your questions tonight. We will plan on perhaps doing some more questions in the future as well. So please make sure to hit that notification button. But thank you, Yiannah, for coming on. Love you. And
Thank you
love
for
your
having me.
culture. You're so
Love you
welcome.
too, girlfriend. Thank you. Until next time, everybody.
All right. Have a good night, everyone. Bye.